Excuse me, I'm the moderator also. It's funny. We need to be optimistic to save our countries. My name is Lisa Luciardin. I'm the first international presidential advisor. I've been a 007 in the background. You could see, proven by my work, that I've given great direction and advising under President Trump and internationally. And I wanted to say thank you so much for taking this message. I am so excited that my computer is working, and I am grateful. I have been many places to promote the freedom and safety and well-being and life of the Judeo-Christian nations and working in unity. Many people know me in the government walks of life, but the lay people, only a handful, because there's corporate censorship. But it's proven by all my work. But let's get to the point. I again reviewed some of the speeches in Davos, and I'm so excited to say I saw my beautiful friend Zelensky, and he got to the point of what we need to do to protect our EU, our freedoms, America, Ukraine, and stop the wars. And that's what I asked. I asked years ago, and recently again in June, when they did cut, EU did cut purchasing some of Russia's oil. And I'm grateful for that. You don't know that's me. I worked in an area, I won't say where I'm staying now, but I worked in a place where I'm staying, where I came, was called to ask to protect their borders, and they're doing it. But at the time in June, I asked about, told no one to buy Russia's oil in that time before. And the thing is that China, Turkey, Taiwan, many of the areas are buying oil from Russia. So that funds the wars. We know that, but let's do something about it. Let us do something about it. We need to come together in truth and reconciliation. So in order to have freedom, we cannot put death upon life. And unfortunately, Putin, if he tries to take your king, and he'll go to the next nation, the next nation, the next nation. And as I said, this was a pre-planned over many years. In 2019, it was pre-planned that this war was going to be formed in a conglomerate of enemies. Do you understand that you have the power in your nations, every EU country, to protect your nation and all those around you, and you have to work with USA. You have to. You can't delete USA. You need to come together in reconciliation. And that's what I said years ago about geopolitical power. That the more we're together, EU and America, we can protect each other, and we can set up our missile defense, and we can block it faster because it's a shorter distance from Europe to USA, and that's how you can help us. But we can help you by protecting you and setting up our missiles and our military protection that we already give you. And I asked that before. It's in my book, In God's Power, America Save Our Legacy. That's the first one of my books that I talked about in 2011, these problems. So EU and America need to come together in peace and reconciliation. And she said, oh, what is she talking about? I don't know her. But I'm a warrior for many, many years, going from place to place and writing and even speaking in much terrorism that I've had, counterterrorism, terrorism, and biowarfare against me to speak the truth, because they use the ideas and I am not in with them directly. And that's terrible. What Russia just did, anti-terrorism, I saw on the train. They do very cutthroat And it's too bad because Putin was a great leader of dignity. Now he's overcome into the darkness of communism and hatred to use humans as a human shield for his own military ideas to take over different nations. And this is what will happen in your countries, EU and America, if we don't come together and change laws and realize that you have a Judeo-Christian covenant. This is not a sermon. This is not a hopeful idea. This is fact and truth. You have a Judeo-Christian covenant with God to protect you. When all those EU countries developed, you had a legacy with God that when you walk in obedience of righteousness, you have protection and you have it. And you need to use it. And how are we going to use it? We need not to allow China to buy oil from Russia. That's where he's getting most of his money. And Taiwan, and Turkey, and other places. You have to put sanctions on China and cut yourself from China. Can't you see? It's the same scenario. I told you these wars were pre-planned to take over America, take over our Western civilization. That's why you will have one nation after the other, and all the Islamic regime are protesting. This is just not a war with Zelensky and Putin. In America, in EU, this has been a pre-planned war to take over Western civilization over a long period of time. Can't you see why they said, what are our orders? What are our orders, the Islamic regime? And we know that China doesn't consider Hamas a terrorist organization, and they gave monies. Do you understand? You are the chosen ones, the chosen leaders to protect your nations, and God's given you all the power and wisdom to carry on. You work together, and that's what I said. Our beautiful European leaders said it today, which I'm so happy, that we are more powerful, and we have to have Russia cut off indirectly. That's what he said. When USA works with EU, Russia will be cut off. When USA works with EU, we need to work on it now. Can't you see China has come into Islamic regime? It's a whole setup. This is pre-planned for many years. In 2019, I drew a picture of a Russian, Jesus with a Russian hat, and a Mary with a Russian hat, and Jesus with a Russian hat. This is a true story. You think I've been working on this I just got into a position for my job? No, this has been for many years. That was in 2019. In 2011, I wrote about these problems, about immorality and morality. Dialectic secularization of how immorality and morality, there's a tension, a force that is evil that's coming into our life, and Pope Benedicto and Habermas talked about this, and this is what this is. They want to take over Western civilization of freedoms, but it's all connected, don't you see? China's using the same pattern as Russia did with hurricane, okay? And China's using it with the Islamic regime. And then the Islamic regime has gotten to all our Western civilizations, and they want to take over our ideas of freedom. And in 10 to 30 years or less, your countries could be destroyed, and there'll be bloodshed forever if you do not, and you will, protect your nations and have new laws, and I have them outlined, and many other people do, to solve that problem. It's just a problem. It's not a power. They are and I could say it now, and I said it before, because everyone's saying the Antichrist, the Islamic regime. My two beautiful friends, I'll never forget, when I was in high school, they were Iranian, and they said we had to leave because there was so much tension in our country. They were my friends, and I was just friends with them, and I'll never forget, they had to leave. Same thing with another big, very regal family from Armenia. They had to flee also to America. That was years ago. We need to realize that if you allow the Islamic regime in Russia and China to control you, your country could come like the Islamic regime. Because Iran wasn't that way. It was ruled by a king, remember? But you, EU, and America have the power of it's called the new covenant with the old covenant. This is not something that I made up, and I'm not saying a sermon, but you have to live in righteousness. You can't eat from both tables. And it's interesting because Zelensky said we need to season our dishes right. And a book I'm writing talked about that we have a beautiful bully base that we made because Julia Child was an American, and she was a gourmet cook, but she used to cook for royalty and politicians, but she was an undercover 007. And she made her dishes delicious, but she did it for freedom. You have everything at your fingertips, but you need to be strategic, and you can't allow China to buy oil, to buy oil from Russia. And if he still does, they still do, you have to cut them off, more sanctions. And they're trying to say that China is the one that polishes all the damn silver, then make a damn silver company. They said it will take 10 years. No, with technology, you could do it in 5. This has to be done right away. You cannot feed war. Ladies and gentlemen, politicians and leaders, billionaires, millionaires, and just like Mr. Fink said, civilized people, let us come together and bring freedom. In America, don't you see, when they want to take over a nation in war, and this is with Pope 10th and 11 has teaches us, and also books on war. They first pit the people against each other. Then they make lie a true, truth a lie. And then they make a big project of hell to destroy. Don't pit the people against each other. Don't allow EU and USA to allow them to divide you. Come together in truth. You need each other. Same thing with America. They have to go through each state to see the crimes, and everybody needs to, because it's geopolitical powers now. And there's many crimes over 20 years, things have changed. It's not 20 years ago. Do you understand? Think, it's not like 20 years ago. There's geopolitical powers. You can see in my book, In God's Power, America, Save Our Legacy, In God's Power, Nation Save Your Legacy. I talk about the paradigms of power. There's new geopolitical powers as Russia and China. And Brazil buys oil too. I saw that. And Turkey. You better get off your gluteus maximus. And God won't allow this. You sold yourself, and don't buy any more oil from Russia. You're killing people. God's giving you a crown of life. What the hell? This is terrible. Don't bring your people down to the depths of hell. There's geopolitical powers now. We cannot do it the old way. The only old way we can do it is the way of truth, of the old and new covenant that God, Elohim, the God of strength and power, that you have at your fingertips, in your heart, because the heart works with the brain. You have it. You have the spirit that could overcome all things in God through the righteousness, just like our beautiful Franklin Graham says, and our beautiful President Trump. He doesn't want 30,000. How many people die every month? Those beautiful people makes me want to cry. I am weeping in my heart because I've been working on this out of love as a humanitarian called to help. And the thing is that I said years ago that Russia would lose mostly all his nation if he continues the war. And he's very rich. He's one of the richest men in Europe. Did you know that? When I looked up who is the wealthiest men or women in Europe, and he's one of the richest. He doesn't care about his people. He cares about the power to enter in the defilement of other countries. He defiles the freedom and love that God gave him, and he considers himself a believer. Be a Nebuchadnezzar of Cyrus. Cyrus, he's the one that protected his nation. He's the one that protected his people. He's the one that brought freedom, and China should be ashamed. Did you know they used to be the greatest country of democracy and freedom under the legendary warrior, but then they turned communists, and they put their finger on everything, and it's death. There's geopolitical powers now. This is an extra. I'll try to make it very simple for the lay people that watch this and for the politicians that are specialists. There is geopolitical powers. You have to assess all that. The cartels. Because the cartels are used by Russia, by China, Brazil, by Honduras. Honduras, China went in. I'll just give you an example. Because we know that EU is our small areas of land. China went into Honduras, gave money, sold terrible contracts that will be obsolete because of inflation. Not unless they did it with Bitcoin, but I don't think so. And President Castro, it's terrible. She sold herself, and now they're there. They're right below Mexico, and then America. And that's why it says, I want all the borders protected, and all your borders better be protected. You can't accept any more immigrants. They have to come in legally, and you need to make new laws with the immigrants. There could be no crimes. There has to be respect for your nation, and there has to be new laws. Respect those streets. No call to prayer. No praying in the streets. Those streets are your streets. Put your crown on. Those streets are your streets. You have a heart of God that EU and America, we let everyone in, and then they bite us, just like President Trump, and turn and bite us like a snake. But America, we cannot have a division. We need to come together in truth and peace. But why would we allow Somalians, for example, to do fraud, rape, stealing everything, and trying to take our nation, and all the Islamic regime trying to do Shari law or take cities and nations and build their culture? No. And that's for the same thing for you. When you support people buying Russia oil, you're also allowing the fraud, the death of a nation. But you have the power in your fingertips to work together. So we need to do these things that you know that you need to do, and you have the power and strength to do it. You have the wisdom, but most of all, it's not through you. Because I know now many people are thinking about the spiritual part. It's not your power, it's the power of God in you when you do righteousness. And of course we know we always have trials and death. Just like Zelensky said, all those deaths of the people, and it's terrible. But you still have the responsibility to carry out the righteousness and the protection of the freedom and liberty for all. Just like Fink said, the civilized people, citizens. This needs to be done right away, and we need to protect every state, every nation, every community. You have to go through your communities and your offices, even your government, and check and see if there's crimes. Safety first. This war cannot go on. And Netanyahu, they're trying to point fingers at him. No. Of course, I don't know all and every detail, but I know the highest justice. And the highest justice is the Judeo-Christian nation of ethics, of Nicodemean ethics, that all your constitutions and laws were based on. Well, he was fighting, he was protecting the whole of Europe and America. Because I was told way in the late 90s that there's going to be a bigger power that's going to overtake these powerhouse families in Europe and America, and it's the Islamic regime in China. And now Russia, unfortunately, has gone on their team that is death. But he is a leader that could be directed to truth because he has a seed of truth, Putin, but not now. He doesn't want to stop. He needs to stop now because he will lose more. And he just did a terrorist action, which is terrible. I know about the terrorist actions individually and personally. That's what they'll do in each one of your nations. You understand? Eventually, we don't solve this. And how are we going to solve it? We told you. You're going to work together with USA. And you're going to pray and ask for God for direction, first in righteousness in all you do. And we'll get a miracle. We will. But we can't allow Russia to sell their oil to these places. No more buying oil, EU, from Russia. No more. China buys all that oil, but they're friends. They're hand in hand. China's going to Iran, and they should be cut out. Cut out. This is very terrible. But guess what? You have the power to do this. And by your tools, you have the tools. You can do it. You have the tools of the Judeo-Christian covenant. It's a covenant that's been lasting for years of the time of the entry of when God made human beings, Adam and Eve. And don't allow these things that you see that seem outrageous, like a spaceship underneath Greenland. If that's true, that's one of the reasons why we want it so bad. Those things, we can't answer all the questions, but we know. We can't always answer all the questions with the spirituality, but we know that you have a living covenant. And you know what righteousness is. And you know that you have power to overcome all things in the power of God in you. This is not a preaching thing. This is not a hopeful thing. This is truth of a living experience with the creator of your nations and humanity. But the most beautiful thing is that you have all the tools to restore your nations. Thank you so much. This is Lisa Luciarden. God bless you. I appreciate your time. Please look me up, lisaluciarden.com. Please help donate. And I would love to speak, and I also sing, and we can have a big event more big events to come together in truth and reconciliation. Thank you so much. This is Lisa Luciarden. God bless you.